welcome to the thorough newspaper analysis of 7th March 2022. Today, we are going to talk about the article Thank You Justice, which has been taken from the Indian Express's editorial. And following that, we will have the news update and the legal news, which you know are a part of LawSikho's initiative to keep its readers updated with the current affairs that is happening in and around India. So before we delve into today's article, this article talks about Justice Qureshi, who was the Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court and retired on Sunday. With this, he ends a 2-decade-long career as a judge of a constitutional court. His farewell speech will go down the annals of history, where he addressed the elevation controversy that was raised 4 years ago by Justice Gogoi. Justice Gogoi, in his autobiography, had stated that Justice Qureshi was someone who was perceived in a negative perception by the government. To this, Justice Qureshi concurs that the fact that he was perceived in a negative light by the government is in itself a testament, a certificate of independence for him, and a certificate of character integrity. Justice Qureshi is someone who has been known for the difficulties that he faced while being elevated as the Chief Justice of High Court and then his induction into the Supreme Court. Justice Qureshi was supposed to be the Chief Justice of Gujarat High Court based on seniority, which was snubbed. Later on, due to the protests carried out by the Bar Council, he was elevated as the Chief Justice of Gujarat High Court for only 2 weeks before he was transferred to the High Court of Bombay. Following that, he was again transferred to the Tripura High Court, where he was made Chief Justice amidst protests. He was also supposed to be inducted into the Supreme Court, and he was the second senior most judge who was in the nomination list. However, due to stiff opposition, the collegium refrained from doing so and in the meanwhile stalled any appointments for the time being. This impasse was later broken down by Justice Ramana. However, Justice Qureshi was not brought into Supreme Court, and he ended his term as the Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court. Justice Qureshi shall be remembered among the likes of Justice Khanna, who was known for his integrity. Justice Khanna was known to stand tall even during the time of emergency, knowing very well that this would cost him his tenure as the Chief Justice of India in the Supreme Court. Justice Qureshi will be remembered with the likes of him. For news updates, we have ASG Aman Lekhi quits. Senior advocate Aman Lekhi resigned from his appointment as the Additional Solicitor General of India through a letter that was addressed to the Union Minister of Law. Second of all, we have legendary Australian cricketer Shane Warne and Rod Marsh pass away. Shane Warne, the legendary Australian spinner whose talent and personality transcended the sport, died on Friday at the age of 52. He was the first cricketer to reach 700 test wickets. Former Australian wicketkeeper Rod Marsh passed away last weekend in Queensland. He was aging 74 on his deathbed and passed away following a fatal heart attack. Marsh played 96 tests for Australia between 1970 and 1984, scoring 3,633 runs, including 300s. During his retirement, he held the record of the most dismissals in Test cricket at 355 dismissals. Next up, we have ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. With India leading the group stage, the 2022 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup is the 12th edition of the Women's Cricket World Cup, which is being held in New Zealand in March and April 2022. New Zealand qualified automatically as the hosts, with all other qualification places being determined by the ICC WODI rankings. Country's first indigenous flying trainer, Hansa NG, is the fourth news update for today. Hansa NG, the country's first independent flying trainer designed and developed by CSIR, was successfully tested at Puducherry from 19th February to 5th March. Next up, we have the inauguration of the Pune Metro. PM Modi inaugurated Pune Metro stretches on 2 corridors. It is a 12-kilometer stretch of a total of 32.2-kilometer Pune Metro rail project. The trains will be operational along 2 routes, Vanas to Garware College Metro Station and PCMC to Fugewari Metro Station. Next up, we have the legal news updates. For first, we have the trial court cannot direct life sentence should extend to remainder of life without remission. The Supreme Court reiterated this, that the trial court is not bestowed with the authority to sentence someone with a life imprisonment that shall continue the entire stretch of his lifetime. The power can only be exercised by the High Court and the Supreme Court and not by any other inferior court. Secondly, we have the Supreme Court stays the Delhi High Court order, which declared citizens have right to feed street dogs. The Supreme Court on Friday stayed a Delhi High Court order that recognized the right of citizens to feed stray dogs. The petitioner had claimed previously that unlike house dogs, which are trained, stray dogs are unpredictable, they are dangerous, and they could harm or kill people. Thirdly, relief of permanent injunction against the true owner cannot be granted when title dispute is settled against the plaintiff. The Supreme Court, while deciding a case where the defendant had been held as the true and absolute owner of the suit land in question, the court found that it was unsustainable both on law and in fact that an injunction be issued against a true owner in favor of a trespasser. So this was all for today. You can join our Instagram channels through these handles, and you can also join our Telegram group by scanning this QR code. Thank you for staying with us. And for any further information, please visit www.lawsikho.com. Thank you.